Young African, especially men, are often prone to risking their own life by journeying through the Mediterranean Sea or the Sahara in search of greener pasture. But Africans in the diaspora, especially in Germany, are building bridges and finding solutions on how to cope illegal migration through economic empowerment and entrepreneurship forums. In today's edition of the Nyimas Bantaba, we will be looking at the significant role of African diaspora in curbing irregular migration through economic and entrepreneurship forums. Joining me are founders, business and economic experts, especially empowering young African entrepreneurs and promoting Made in Africa. Herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Folge von Nyimas Bantaba. Ich freue mich sehr, mit euch zusammen, mit meiner Gastinnen, das heutige Thema, die Rolle der afrikanischen Diaspora bei der Eindämmung der irregulären Migration durch die Förderung des wirtschaftlichen Unternehmertum in Diskussion zu kommen. Mein Name ist Nyima Jadama. Mit mir im Studio sind wunderbare Wirtschaft- und Unternehmen-Expertinnen aus Europa und Afrika. Zusammen werden wir über ihr Engagement und Expertise bzw. wie irreguläre Migration durch Förderung des wirtschaftlichen Unternehmertums kämpfen können. Bleiben Sie dran. I am pleased to welcome my guests from West Africa, as well Cameroon and Germany. First, with me in the studio, I have the founder of a social entrepreneurship group, Ghana, also project lead by Code of Africa, FAO, Kwabeni Obiri Yebo, based in London. Thank you for correcting me. Thank you for traveling all the way from North Rhine-Westphalia to Berlin to join us.
It's a pleasure.
And the rest of my guests joining me online from Freetown, Sierra Leone, I have Nabi Yahya Yanse, the network manager of the Young African Entrepreneurs Network. And all the way from Cameroon is Nde Kenge Fanny Milanga. Also correct me in case I pronounce your name wrong. Fanny is the founder of...
Fanny Miklaj.
Thank you.
Miklaj.
Okay, Nikaj, founder of the Royal Bioindustry based in Cameroon. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
First, unfortunately, one of our guests could not join us, so I start first with Kwabena. Kwabena or Kwabeni?
Yeah. Correct.
Correct. Okay. So, Kwabena, before we talk about your social entrepreneurship hope, I would want to know, like, or let's say one of your objectives is attaining the SDG goals. This is the hope in promoting green and sustainable entrepreneurship. So when I was reading through, I was like, okay, green, yeah, Africa, when we say Africa, we thought it's green, right? But you are telling us it's not that much utilized, even though it's green. I mean, what are you promoting and why targeting the SDGs?
Thank you very much. So, personally, I think it's time for us to promote this whole sustainability. It is not that the African is not sustainable, but over time, this whole topic of growing with fertilizer is better than our previous methods of growing plants in Africa. Using the plastic bottle is better than buying maybe drinks in bottled water, because the plastic, you could take it home and after you throw it away. So there has been that influence which has changed our way of life. And fast forward, now the people who are telling us that fertilizer and growing our crops in a certain direction are now coming back to tell us, okay, go back to your old method because it is the best method. Or if you even look in Europe here, you go to the shops and now a lot of these drinks, fizzy drinks are coming in bottles and no more in plastics, and they are encouraging them to use bottles. So then I'm asking myself, that is what we were doing back there, but then it was becoming more of, okay, that is not too cool. Use the plastic or grow with fertilizer. You can get more produce out of it. So at the moment, what I'm doing is also trying to draw the community's attention to it, that what we were doing previously, maybe growing with the chicken droppings that we pick from the coop, wasn't the bad thing we were doing. It was even saving the environment. And I think that is what also the SDGs are pushing. If you look at climate action, if you look at what you call it, reducing poverty, action for gender equality, everything boils down to how can we grow our environment? How can we empower our women? How can we empower our youth to be a part of this whole topic of sustainability, or to be a part of that world that we are seeking to build? So what I am pushing is, how do we build an impactful environment where everybody is contributing towards the bigger goal?
Okay, we will definitely talk about the impact it's bringing, and but then first of all, you live in Germany, of course you're Ghanaian, of course we all want to give back home. Why do you think it's the right time to do this? I mean, what impresses you to do this? What's the motive behind?
Personally, since I moved to Germany to study, I've been contributing towards the growth of the country in one way or the other. I worked on different projects in Africa, in Tanzania, Rwanda, Ethiopia, Kenya, and Ghana, with different organizations contributing. It's always get what you have been able to acquire. How can we give back to those who have not gotten this opportunity that we are getting in the diaspora at the moment? So that is what is motivating me, because you and I know that before you become what you have become, it is the community's financial resources that makes you, because it is not structured like in Europe or probably in America, where it is the government resource that pushes you to a certain level. When you're going to school, the woman in the corner is giving you some small sugar. The man in the corner is giving you some rice. So it is a collective, communal project that makes you the individual. So when you have been able to achieve a certain status, then you have to give back to the community that you find yourself. So that is what is pushing me. I come from Ghana, so definitely giving back to the community in Ghana, whatever I am able to, or what I am acquiring here or receiving through their benevolence of pushing me to this level.
Yeah. Apropos giving back to the community, so I have two other young Africans joining me who are amazingly doing well, but still decided to stay in their respective countries. Now, funny, you are in Cameroon, a very successful businesswoman. You could say like Nyima and Kwabena did, I'm traveling to Europe or elsewhere, maybe to find a better life. But no, you decided to stay. Now, we're looking at the aspect, we're looking at migration at the aspect of entrepreneurship, and you are one of those successful ones, like I said. And you founded the Royal Bio company, Royal Bios. That means you're not just producing one bio, but several of them. Tell us the motive behind this. Why? And why did you decide to say, okay, I'll stay in Africa and do it?
Every member of the panel, I greet you all. My name is Fanny Miklange, and I am a Cameroonian, as we all know. Actually, I have one motive. I have something that has pushed me to do what I am doing. You know, we all have these minds in Africa, especially in my country, like, okay, everybody wants to go out and make some money. You know, everything is about making money, and maybe come back after 15 years, build a house. But that was not my approach. That was not my mind. That was not what I had in my mind. You know, right from small, as those tender age, I have always been wanting to be a role model. That is somebody that people is going to learn from. And I identify the problem in the society. I came from Douala. I grew up in Douala. Douala is the economic capital of Cameroon. So that place is very busy. It's a very busy environment. So I studied from, let me say, from primary school to the secondary school there. And after that, I have to leave. I went and studied in English. So during the process, during my transition, I discovered that Douala was not cleaner as where I was studying, where I spent my high-level education. So this came to a point where people did not want to visit me in Douala because they say, Douala stinks, Douala smells, Douala is not good, you know. And I said, yes, this is true. Then I need to bring a solution for that. And during the process of researching, looking for a solution, I found that wirtschaftsliche industry. Wirtschaftsliche industry is a waste management industry. And that's where we have segmented. I cannot say the industry has been existing just for three to 4 years, but we have been up to the standards. We have been doing so well because of the problem that we are resolving. We are helping the young people to be able to understand that what you are going to look for, or the problem that you are running away because for you is not favorable, it is an opportunity for you. So what we have done is that wirtschaftsliche industry has been able to have 3 different branches. That is, we transform the organic waste into gas and organic fertilizers. And the second part is that we recycle plastic waste into pavements and other useful products. And the last one is that we recycle those old leathers, old bags, old boxes, that is all of them that has been expired. We take them and we mix shoes with them. So we came to understand that with a strategy that we want to involve the youth and the community in there, that okay, you say you want to go out for greener pasture because maybe you want money, but this is an opportunity that you can involve. Now we decided to train the youth, getting them involved in the process.
Fanny, I'm not cutting you short, but these are questions that I would want to ask, and you are answering all in one. Like, we would definitely ask about the products that you do, the impact it's bringing, and how you're engaging the youth. So we first wanted to talk about the objective, I think, which is really clear. So I'll put a point on there, and then move to Nabi. So definitely we will talk about your businesses and in what all of you are engaged in. Nabi, you're sitting in Freetown, an amazing place when it comes to nature, naturally, industry, and so on, you name it. You are spearheading, you have both background, like not an immigrant in Europe, but then you have worked with International Organization of Migration, IOM, supporting immigrants, and as well, now spearheading as the country manager, the network of young African entrepreneurs. Now, tell us about the objective of this entrepreneurs network and how and why did you get involved?
First of all, I want to say thanks to Madam Aisha, our global president that stays in Germany. I was contacted whilst I was serving in the capacity at United Nations Development Program, UNDP. So through my career, 5 years I've been with migration issues in my country, promoting youth within International Organization for Migration, IOM. So later I moved on to UNDP, where I was contacted by the South-South Corporation for me to serve in that capacity and support Madam Aisha in that project for the young African entrepreneur. Going forward, the background of the motive of the entrepreneur network is like bringing the mindset of our youth in Sierra Leone, discouraging them not to travel illegally out of Sierra Leone, for them to empower themselves, learn from the product, learn from the organic materials we have here in Sierra Leone, transform them into a useful product, just like how Madam Fanny is doing now in Cameroon. Those are the idea, those are the initiative. Discouraging these youth, yes, it's nice, it's good to travel, but if you want to travel, travel in the legal means. Yeah, and then from what is existing. Now we have many entrepreneurs who are not capacitated. In which sense? They are doing their local product, but they have different challenges. They cannot make their products. Ghanaian can buy, Guinean can buy from Sierra Leone. That is the motive, one of the motive of the network. The other motive is for them to be connected. Like, for instance, we have two borders, Guinea and Liberia. How many products, we thought it fits that, how many products the Guineans are buying from Sierra Leone? How many products the Liberians are buying from Sierra Leone? How many local products the Ghanaians are buying from Sierra Leone? And I envisage that many of our local products is being bought in the supermarkets. These are imported goods, wherein those goods will be produced here if they had the capacity. They are interested. The youth are angry to learn. The youth need this opportunity for them to go forward, but they don't have it. They have the initiative. They have the innovations. We have the raw material. Look at what they are doing. Thank God. I want to use this opportunity to first of all say thank you very much. The youth appreciate you guys so much because of your interaction. The likes of Nima, Kwabena, Fanny, the guys are always asking for you guys because you share the actual knowledge to them how to be confident and stay at home and be successful. It's not about traveling. People can see that some of us are successful. Yes, we cannot be boastful. I've never traveled to Europe. I have never traveled to Europe. But I'm here impacting the society, give back to the society. Kwabena mentioned something. The society we live in, they have been supporting us. Some of our aunties, uncles here and there, they've been giving us lunch whilst we are going to school. We use those opportunities, so we want to give back to society.
Apropos giving back to society. Thank you so very much. Apropos giving back to society, I think it was one of the reasons why you don't just set up the social entrepreneurship in Ghana, but as well join the team in Freetown in January, like Nabi was saying. Now, tell us, what expertise do you share there, and why do you think, okay, I have to extend to Sierra Leone? Why do you decide to join a network of young African entrepreneurs?
Thank you very much. So the Social Entrepreneurship Hub has the goal of building capacity of the youth. Mm-hmm. The African youth also has wonderful, innovative ideas. And our biggest challenge is resources. We don't have all the resources available to us. So in the course of my studies also, I came into contact with a theory called effectuation. And through this theory, a lot of expert entrepreneurs have used it successfully. And that is also one of the approaches I used to build the Social Entrepreneurship Hub. And so it was the opportunity for me to also share this knowledge with different people in different capacities across Africa. And basically what the effectual or effectuation talks about is how can we use the resources that are closest to us to co-create a venture or a future which we are dreaming of, because we don't have all that we want or dream of. But that does not mean that we have to sit there waiting that, okay, because I'm not getting the financial means, I'm not getting these resources, I will not be able to start my own business. So we are saying that auntie has a space, that uncle has maybe a land. Can you take advantage of this and start something small? Gradually bring your friend along. Talk to other people. They will self-select into your business. Gradually build the business. Look for partners who will finance the business in one way or the other. And partners, sometimes when we talk about even partnerships, customers can be a source of partnership. Because sometimes some customers will give you the money, then you will deliver later. So this is one of the approaches that I learned through my education, and I'm trying to give back through the hub in Ghana, and also came across the event in Sierra Leone. So definitely when they approached me, I was like, okay, this is an opportunity to also give back to a certain group of young people and very ambitious people we met in Sierra Leone, and very, very energetic, innovative young guys the limitation is resource. So how can they, in the midst of uncertainty, and we have high levels of uncertainty, because you don't know tomorrow, inflation, change of government sometimes changes everything. Now you have to start building a business. So it's unlike in Europe where you go to the registrar's office, you're getting everything through. So in the face of all these challenges, how can we support, or how can I bring this knowledge to people, which I have tried it myself, started a business with a friend in Ghana, which we are making shoes out of discarded textile. So textile waste, making shoes out of it. So it is not something very far away or remote from me. So that motivated me to join the team and also share that knowledge with them. And I think they really enjoyed it.
Apropos really enjoyed and as well sharing knowledges. Funny, you were also part of the summit in Sierra Leone, being the first winner of the first entrepreneurship summit held in Cameroon. Tell us, how did you make it? I mean, it was a lot of young entrepreneurs, I understand, that made a pitch, but you stand out far. What is this special about your pitch that made you to lead and as well accompany them to Sierra Leone?
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for that question. Actually, a pitch has its sessions, and then a pitch has objectives. And I focus on the objectives and I focus on the outcome of the pitch. So we were many of us that had that pitch, but I stood out because I believe the impact that my organization was giving, because of the confidence I had in my organization or in my projects or in what I'm going to do. And also I believe that the niche of the people I was touching was really large. That is the value added proposition, the value added. I was having a large value that was impacting the society. So what makes me stand out also amongst the other people, I did not say that their own was not the perfect, they was not that good, or did not. It's simply because the solutions that I was bringing was solutions that was real in our society, and that, and it was real and even all over Africa. So I was bringing solutions or highlighted the problem that I highlighted was problem that was feasible. Those were the problems that we all were living, and we have been thinking, like, trying to get a solution. How could we get a real solution? I believe, and I brought up the solutions, and everybody in the panel noticed those were the real solutions that were needed. And I believe that is what's bringing me up. And the next was the people that I was involving into my company or into the process of the project. You know, I worked mostly with the local community. I came to understand that the local communities are people that are, should I say underestimated? Should I say that they are less privileged? Should I say that they are the people that we don't turn most into? Like, we focus developing our country, like the cities. Like when we talk about development, you know, development mostly comes in our cities, and we're forgetting the local community. And those are the people that go back to them, because I said to myself, they also deserve the beautiful life that we have in the city. They deserve it. They need it too. They are the same people like us. They do not do nothing wrong, you know. And they saw that, wow, that was a good solution for them.
Apropos a good solution, I'm sure this solution is what the network of young entrepreneurs are trying to achieve. Now they're fully established in Cameroon and Sierra Leone, and then going forward through the Global South. Nabi, you being the country manager for this, what specifically is your role, and how are you building the community of entrepreneurs in Sierra Leone? Nabi, are you there with us? So if Nabi, I hope his internet is not making up. Okay, so Kwabena.
Africa.
Yeah, it's Sometimes the network is bad. Kwabena, tell us, what was your best moment or what's your takeaway from the summit?
Takeaway from the summit is the energy of the young people. Because we met very enthusiastic people who are ready to learn. And I believe the number of days that we shared or we spent with them, engaging them, and some had with their own resources, and that was also the very motivating part, put metals together, and maybe some, I think 2 guys, one had done the solar car, and the other, although was a simple car with the different parts joined together, but you could see that the little that they have, the little that they are getting within even their environment, they were making so much out of it. So speaking with the youth commissioner, then who is Jobson, also speaking with the minister, the question was, how can we take this to the next level? Because they are not people who came to ask just for money, but they came with something. They came with their hands, with a solution in their hands. So how do you help these people achieve this goal that they have started? And I believe that that is the topic that we might have to also pick with them, especially the leaders in the communities, that when, in as much as we might say, okay, there are a lot of challenges and probably the youth are not doing so much, but the youth we came into contact with were very innovative, very enthusiastic, and they were ready to do so much. So how do we support them to the next level? And I know Jobson and his team are doing so much to support them, and I believe, in the next year or 2 years, we should see a lot of resources that are coming out, because some of them even wanted to export to Europe.
Yeah.
So then the decision to organize these online courses with and for them on how to, sometimes the product might be good, but does it fit the international market?
Yeah.
On how to upgrade, how to brand, and some of these topics that might be a bit remote from the young people. So I think I'm seeing a very promising future with them.
I don't know if Nabe is still with us. Okay, then funny, apropos a very promising feature where Kwabena concluded on, what promising feature are we seeing, for example, let's say in Cameroon, that would actually help us to curb irregular migration? Yeah, so guys would bear with me. My guests, 2 of my guests are actually joining me from Africa. And it's possible, this is why the internet is just making up. Let's talk about Code of Africa.
Good, so...
because, like, you actually wear so many hats. Code of Africa, social entrepreneurship, I don't know, XYZ, tell us.
It's more, Code for Africa is also a diaspora initiative with also some German friends on how can we tap into the resources that are available here and create a knowledge exchange pipeline with the Global South. And for instance, the Code for Africa, what it does is that it also looks for resources to support initiatives that drives youth capacity building, that is also supporting a lot of the entrepreneurship initiative. For instance, one of the projects that we are working on, which we call the Enobwa Space Project. And the Enobwa Space Project, mainly, we have 2 German experts, Martin and Jana. Martin is a creative person, and Jana is a fashion person. And with Jana, what she was doing is that a lot of our young ladies who have gone into fashion apprenticeship, after that, what becomes of them? So most of the time, they don't have this opportunity to go into any masterclass. And creating the space also, the reason for the space is a lot of them, after their apprenticeship, they want to start something, but they don't have the resources. And we thought about, why don't we create a space where all of them can gather? There are machines, they can come and sew and go home. So you take away that initial cost burden that might send them to go and stay at home and be hoping that somebody finds them. So now they have a space where they can come and co-create. And what we are also doing with that is that then they have the opportunity to also learn entrepreneurship. Because a lot of the times they are learning the skill, but they are not learning about the business. So that opportunity of coming into the space where they have the machines, and fortunately for us, we got the support from the Genial Social in Dresden. There's a group of young people who go around gathering money to support projects in Africa. Nice. So we are very thankful for their support. And also what Martin was doing was that in the era of creativity, where a lot of the young people are creating content, they also need to be brought up to a certain level. Yep. So we partnered with a lot of experts, also local experts and international. So that is where the knowledge exchange comes in, to co-create a new knowledge which we can impart on these young people who are skilled. And what we also did was, there are a lot of visual art and maybe fashion students in the high schools that are between 12 and 14, 12 and 15. How do we bring this new world to them? Because the curriculum is not changing. And if the curriculum, even if we are proposing or pushing for a change, it takes a year, 3, 5, 6. But how do we bring this to them? So what we are doing at the moment is also getting into the schools and introducing them to some of the new technologies, new approaches to maybe sewing, new methods, so that by the time they are coming out of school, they understand or they can appreciate the new era of the job market in the creative and the fashion. And we are looking forward to go into other TVET skills as well.
Wow, interesting. Another aspect, we are actually looking at both entrepreneurship and migration. You are an immigrant in Germany. And of course, the word immigrant or migration, the moment we heard, especially coming from West Africa, right? The first thing that comes to your mind is their wirtschaftliche, economic migrants. It doesn't matter whether you are, I don't know, a student, or this is how, in general, we are termed at. So how has been your experience being an immigrant and then involving into this entrepreneurship? Or let's say, why do you think entrepreneurship is vital in curbing irregular migration? Is it bringing an impact to the society that you are engaged with?
Also, I think you are a migration expert, and you know about the different types of migration. Yeah. And we have the positives and the negatives of migration. Because, for instance, I think we will talk about the We Do project and the diaspora community and their support to Africa is so huge. More than 23 billion annually going to families and friends from their contribution. Yeah. So do we want to say that they should all stay home, and how do we get these resources to build our country? So if getting the opportunity to be here is an opportunity to learn, to contribute to the motherland. I don't know, some countries are fatherland as well. So how do you take what the people have here? And I think from my experience, I think the country has been good to me in terms of supporting education, scholarship support, in terms of introducing me to new methods of work, which I am taking advantage of. Bringing this whole entrepreneurship, it's something that I also studied in the school here. And the opportunity to travel and work on projects with my professor, Domberger, and all the team. So it's a journey that has been a very positive one for me, coming from Leipzig down into NRW, which is Düsseldorf at the moment. So for me, it has been an opportunity to learn. Because if I were in Ghana, maybe I'll be doing something else. But this opportunity is also adding value to my community in Takoradi, to my community in different parts of Ghana, or the communities that I've lived in. So being a migrant here, yeah, you miss home some of the times. That is normal. And that is when the opportunity comes. Probably on Christmas, you go home. But even when you are going home, what kind of exchange, what kind of new body of knowledge are you bringing with the people? Are you bringing to the people? So I believe being a migrant here, yeah, economic migrants, good, but there's some form of remittance that also goes into it. And I think that is where the We Do project that I work on also comes in here. A lot of the people send money home. And most of the time, these monies get into our daily, maybe, purchases. So what the We Do project thought about with the diaspora community is that this billions...
We will talk about the We Do project. I think Fanny is around. I'm not sure if Nabi is around, but Fanny, are you with us, right?
Yes, I'm here.
Super. So Fanny, you build the royal bio industry and create employment. What impact is the industry bringing to curbing irregular migration by employing these people?
Okay. The impact that we're bringing is first of all in the mindset.
Okay.
We work on the people mindset. That is the most important thing. In everything we do, if the people are not having a change of mindset, they will still go back to where they belong. You know, I would like to talk about one little experience I had lately. I had one young guy that I wanted to employ. He's a computer engineer, very, very intelligent. But he wants to travel out. He wants to go to the US, no matter what, he wants to go to the US. And I was like, why do you want to go to the US? He says, because in the US there is money. And quietly, he admires my life because I always travel out and coming back. I'll travel, after 1 month, I can travel like 5 times, you know. He was like, okay, but why don't you stay there? Why do you come back? And I was like, if I stayed there, do you think that I would have been able to build all those guys, all those people who are around me? And why do you want to go? He says simply because he wants to find himself in the US. He doesn't want to stay in Cameroon. So people have a mindset that being out of the country makes you feel like maybe your family is rich, maybe you have achieved something, maybe even if they feel like, even if they have to give up in their education, they don't care. So it is important we should start with the mindset, helping them understanding you can be an international person or an international entrepreneur. Means you go and you come, you impact your community. That is the reason why in all the country I've been, I have not been able to remain. I am part of the Global Entrepreneurship Congress that gave us opportunity to travel every time as we want. So like this time we're going to be in Australia, that is next month. But there is no way you go and remain because I have objectives to achieve in Cameroon. I have people to build. I have people to impact. And royal bio industry, we have developed another part that is the business consultancy. And people, one of our clients are people from London. We have people from Paris that they contacted me. They want to come back to Cameroon. They want to do something. And I told them, and I'll ask them, why do you want to come back? Some of them said they just want to put their business and remain there. And I said, a business is like a child. You cannot give birth to your child and you abandon your child and expecting the child to grow up with a great and good, should I say, character, which you have never been there. So you have to put your mind such a way that you can have your heart in your country, and whatever you are looking for in that other country, you should be able to bring it back from here. That goes back to me. And when my parents wanted me to go to UK, that was in 2016. I denied and I did not go because I started farming. I started business already, which I was going well. I was doing well, and I had an objective. I wanted to be a great woman, you know, in business, great business woman and everything. And I was like, if I go to UK, means that I definitely have to look for a job there, and then I'll forget about my visions. And I said, no, I will not be able to go. My parents were so pissed off. They insulted me. Why? You have to go. Don't you see that the Cameroon, our country, everything. And I'm like, I'll be able to make it. So you see, all this goes to the mind. Then I have been working hard to prove to them that the UK that you have been admiring is also in Cameroon. So this gave me then the opportunity that, okay, if I want to come to Germany, I have already an idea of what I need to come and get. Because I have a company which you have to have the international standards. It means that, okay, if I have to go to Germany, probably I can go to Germany because I need a raw material. Probably maybe I can go to Germany because I need an expert to help me to boost my production. You understand? It's already a change of mind. So in each country I go to, I have something that I need to bring back and add value to my project.
Well,
and this is what I have been able to transfer to the people around me. You can go good and fine, but you need to have something in you that when things are bad there, you can be able to defend yourself. You should not remain at one spot.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. I hope that many young Africans would think exactly the same way you were thinking. I mean, if we all think that the UK, the Germany, the America is in our own respective countries, I think we will be talking about a different topics than migration being this so huge and why people are migrating. I'm not sure if Nabi is still there. I want to know from the perspective of Sierra Leone. I think it seems like we lost Nabi, but how is the perspective in Ghana? Are Ghanaians thinking this way?
Yeah, I think.
Do they see Ghana as US or Europe?
We love Ghana. It's the best.
I mean, when the CD is competing the dollar.
Yeah, I think in Africa most of our countries have their challenges, and we love home, but we love to also travel as well. And it's not just travel for traveling's sake, but travel to see, travel to learn, and bring back home. And that is what I think since independence, our first president was not in Ghana. He was brought into Ghana and fought for independence. Kofi Annan, the United Nations former Secretary General, may his soul rest in peace, he also contributed a lot to the world at that level. So in different forms and in different ways, when we travel, we contribute to the country and to the world at large. So different people have different, and you will not get everybody to think the way of, I don't want to travel. Because if you don't travel also, it's like reading a book and just one page. You need to travel and see. The more you travel, the more exposed you become, so that you bring back home. And just as I said, the contribution of the diaspora is something you cannot underestimate.
I mean, the GDP from the diaspora, for example, in Gambia, is just way too much than one might think. I think we lost Nabi. Anyway, funny. I'm just amazed by your work. I tell you this several times, and I'll tell you again, all of you, what you guys are doing. I've seen that you currently engage with UN, especially UNHCR, to actually support refugees in building or strengthening I don't like saying building capacity, but strengthening their capacities. Tell us about this current issue that is going on with UNHCR.
Oh, okay. All of it started by a pitch.
Okay, another pitch.
Yes, another pitch that put me at the top. They had UNCIT. That was on the 6th of June, and then I was invited to come and talk about my project, have 5 minutes to pitch about my project. And in that meeting, there was the country representative of UNCHR. There was a country representative of the UNICEF, country representative of the UN Women, and many others. So after the pitch, they were so amazed that they could not just let me go. And they pushed me and they said, we have to work together. And I said, well, good, no problem. And we started working. Like presently, I am working with UNICEF. We have already signed the contracts that we are going to work together and developing the community and everything and this and that. You know, as I was saying, when you have a mind, you have a good mindset, you have a project which you are confident of, and then you are real to what you do, you know, that is one thing too. People, you have to be truthful, you have to be real with what you do, and you have to believe in it. You know, yesterday I was on Wednesday I was in Yaoundé, and I had to sign a contract with UNICEF for the implementation of their works that they want to do in Cameroon, in all the 10 regions of Cameroon. And they wanted me to help them in helping the community, the local community in gas, production of biogas, and helping the local community. Like my organization also produces bags, school bags, producing school bags for the people that need. And what it needs, you know, UNICEF, one thing that UNICEF does is that they take care of children, kids, students too. So they say, okay, they want us to do that. Now with the UNHCR, those are people for refugee, and I approached them with a concept, and I said, okay, you guys take care of refugees and IDP. Now, when you guys have finished, maybe giving them money, ensuring that maybe for 6 months they are okay, what next? I said to them that there is time for them to learn something, to develop their capacity to be able to be independent and to fit in the society when you guys have left. Because when they will not be under UNHCR, they will feel useless in the community. And we decided to put in place a center, a training center, where we're going to train the people who want in the waste management, we'll train them. Those who want to be trained in the shoes production, we will train them. And those who want to be trained in the bags production, we will train them. So that is how we work. That is how we decided to work. And that is the value that I sold to them. And they bought it because they saw the needs. They saw the importance of it.
Amazing.
Is it that there were not many organizations who were doing waste management? They are. But the point is that they do not understand the needs. They do not understand. Probably they focus only on the U-band. Focus only on the city.
Because we have like less than 10 minutes to go, and we have a lot to talk about still. Let's talk about the video project. Like you said, I mean, the diaspora remittances is, to be quite honest, this is what is actually keeping the community. I'm not saying government, because government they're doing their own thing and they're good. But then the community itself, and then you have this redo project that Germany has initiated, supporting certain African countries. I mean, not all. Unfortunately, my country is not part of it, and I'm organizing a protest for this. Tell me about the redo project, what it does, what impact is it bringing to the continent, and why Africa? You know, when I saw this, I was like, do they want to curb irregular migration, or they don't want us to migrate, or what? Why?
No, so I think it's a multiple of factors, and we are just coming from Ghana, where we organized the Widow Awards, and one word that resonated was hope in most of the discussions. And hope is, why were most of the entrepreneurs talking about hope? Okay. The hope was the project brought them hope, especially even during the COVID period, where going to the bank for money was impossible. Or if you go, you understand the interest rate, sometimes 30% interest rate. So the genesis of the WIDO project was more of how can the German government engage the diaspora to support families back home? Because millions and billions of resources or monies are being sent home on a daily basis, weekly basis. So annually, more than 23 billion is going to Africa, and sometimes some literature is saying that it is even more than what the donor monies that are going to our government for development. Mm-hmm. So they reached out to the diaspora and had a conversation with them on how can we turn these remittances into sustainable businesses, mm-hmm. into businesses that will empower and create jobs in your communities, so that by the time you go back, your family that you left behind will be well off. And also this whole dependency of every time then the family, because they are not in good position, have to look up to you. Yeah. It's more or less turn the resources, the remittances that you take to the family or you send to the family on a daily basis, let's turn them into sustainable businesses. And that is the genesis of the WIDO project in turning resources. So what happens with the WIDO project is that the diaspora donor, who is the diaspora person, and in this case, donors in Germany, Switzerland, Austria, France, Norway, and other countries in Europe, who have families in Africa, in countries, Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Kenya, Ghana, Cameroon, and Tunisia. Togo as well. You can also partner with a family member who you are going to remit a certain amount to. You come onto the WeDo platform, then you kind of like build a simple business plan. And in most of the projects, there's so much requirement in terms of you have to have registered your business and all these things. But with the WeDo project, it is that relationship that the diaspora has with that person in the country that initiates the whole process. And what is also beautiful about it is that because you and I are not able to go home on a regular basis to check what family members that we get into contact are doing, they also engage coaches, business experts in the local countries to support the business growth. So the whole idea is that you and the family member or the relative will invest 50% of the total sum of the project money, and the German government, through the BMZ implemented by GIZ, will also add the 50%, and maximum 2,500 euros support can be given to each project. And all the diaspora communities within these countries have the opportunity to do it multiple times. So you as an individual, although it's not in your country, but maybe can adopt somebody in Ghana and support his project.
Why not? It's still part of the continent, but I'm going to launch a protest that Gambia should be part of it. I mean, because if you look at migration statistics, Gambians are migrating more than Ghanaians and Sierra Leoneans or Cameroonians, for example. I mean, illegally.
No, not that. The issue is also, it started, the piloting was done with Ghana, Cameroon, and gradually it's growing.
Kenya and so on.
Definitely, I'm looking forward to probably the next years with more support from the BMZ. Definitely Gambia will be there.
Hartnäckig. Funny, so we have 5 minutes to go. Yeah, you're still there. So maybe just in summary, what impact is the Real Bios company doing in Cameroon? Shortly, how many job employment have you created? How are the youths taking the relevancy of the impact that is bringing to them and really stopping them from immigrating?
Okay, for the impact that we have created, especially let me talk about the employment that we have created. Actually, for the shoes production sites, we have two parents, which are already, that is two parents, which are already having a stable job and be able to take care of their family. Those were the refugees who never had something doing and everything. So we created two branches that was headed by those parents. One parent is handling one branch, and the other branch is being taken care of by another parent. So those two parents have been able to take care of their kids, sending them to school, feeding them, and everything, and seeing life change. And then we have been able to train not less than 10 youths who have opened their own shoes production place, that is, they're producing shoes and making money. Now, actually, for the shoes place, we have now the new set of people that we have. We have another 10 people who are training them. Now, for the gas production, for the biogas sites, we have been able to train not less than 50 people in the area of waste management, that is from the installations and everything. And those people are the local communities, people that they knew that apart of stealing, there is no way that they could be able to do something fruitful with their hands or with their brain. So we help them and involving them in all the process, maybe in the collection of the waste. They can collect the waste and come and sell it to us. That is another way of making money. They can select the waste that is during the process of sorting out, so that we should be able to have the useful waste that we need. That is also another way of making money. Now, for the impacts, we mostly, one of our remarkable impacts is capacity building and community development, and promoting well-being, that is through ensuring that the community lives in a clean environment. Mm-hmm. So those are majority of our impact that we have been able to make so far. And In the area of our new babies product that we just launched this year are school bags, handbags, and traveling bags that we have been able to make. And this one too, we have trained people already that is able to make to bring forth such, because we are going to work with UNICEF. I'm sure they are going to ask us like 5,000 products like school bags. So we have been able to train people that are able to give such result. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kwavena, what else do you think we could do to curb irregular migration aside entrepreneurship?
No, so I think with regards to irregular migration, then definitely some form of orientation in our local countries. And I believe through it can be done in different forms, because within the hub, the social entrepreneurship hub in Ghana and the various communities that I work with, it is more of how do you empower the youth? Because I come from a coastal community, and my community got the first harbor in Ghana, and we see the ship. So if the youth is unemployed, if the youth does not have any skills, and is sitting there and sees a ship, what will be your thinking? Yeah. So definitely what we are doing is that this true entrepreneurship, you try to empower and equip them with skills. And with the support of various organizations, we are able to support them to reduce. Because when you even get the right skills, now look at what is happening in Germany. They are asking for skilled workers. So if you get the right skills, you can go through the regular form. So it's a lot of orientation and also empowering them and giving them hope that, okay, it is not just telling them that it is not good, don't do it, but giving them that kind of a condition or providing them with the resources that will also enable them that if in future they even want to travel, they will go through the right way.
The question of right way, wrong way, regular and irregular migration, I don't even know how to define this. It's still a question, a debate of what is irregular migration. Everybody has the right to move, man. Fanny, your last word, what would you leave with the would-be or potential immigrant trying to immigrate from your country in search of greener pasture? In 30 seconds, if you could, please.
Is it me?
Yeah, in 30 seconds, what would you tell, what would be your advice to potential immigrants from Cameroon?
Okay,
20 seconds.
Tell them or advise them is that, yes, they should be,
in 15
they should be
seconds,
able to travel, they should be able to have an objective, they should be able to have a goal, such a way that if they're going, they should know what they're going there to do, and they should come back to develop their country. Because Cameroon is their origin. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think encourage people to study hard, find regular means of if they want to come and learn something beyond the seas, if we call it that way, and go back to help build the community just as we are doing. So irregular, you might die on the seas. That is not what we all hope for. But if you come through the regular means, then definitely you'll be able to come through in a regular form, then go back to help build your community. So definitely, migration has its positive sides and negative sides, but we encourage regular migration and also skilling yourself so that you can contribute to whichever
I hope you are also in discussion with the authorities in terms of promoting regular migration by giving visas and allowing the bureaucratic system in it to be a bit more. That's all we have for you on this edition of Nyimas Bantaba. We had looked at the topic, the role of African diaspora in curbing irregular migration. My guests were business experts, founders, and experts in entrepreneurship and economic from originally Ghana, Sierra Leone, Cameroon, and of course Germany. My name is Nyima Jadama. Das war's von unserer heutigen Sendung Nyimas Bantaba. Wir hatten über das Thema Rolle des afrikanischen Diaspora und die Eindämmung von irregularen Migration durch Wirtschaft. Und genau, ihr könnt uns gerne auf Instagram, Social Media, Facebook alle folgen. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao.